Hi, and welcome to New Model Monday for April 2025. Joined by Tyler, as always. I'm Matt Stern, and we're going to get things started here. We're doing things a little differently, as you might be able to tell. Tyler is. We had a little bit of a a little bit of a technical issue right before the start of the show, which is why we're a couple minutes late. But Tyler is going to be joined by Doug Blaine on his camera here. So Tyler,
Yeah, how's it going, everybody? Had some technical issues with the laptop webcam that I usually use, so I'm doing this on my phone, and I'm holding it a little awkwardly. Stay on here too long, and when you flip the camera around here and turn it to our special guest star, Doug Blaine.
the man of the hour.
Shall I just get going?
Well, give us a little context first about why you're the guest this month and what's coming up in just a few days.
All right, sounds good. We have a knock on the door here. I don't know if we're going to have to answer it, but at any rate, so my name is Doug Blaine. I'm Vice President of Marketing here at Bachmann. Actually, I'm Vice President of Licensing, but retiring in 2 days. My last day at Bachmann will be on Wednesday. It's been a terrific run. I've enjoyed every minute at Bachmann, and hard to bring great products to model railroaders with the Bachmann team. So Matt and Tyler asked me to give a little bit of my background and some of the history of Bachmann and some of the projects that I've worked on over the years. So with your indulgence, I'll get started on that. So just a brief history of how I got to Bachmann. My first job was actually at the Bud Company in Northeast Philadelphia, making real rail cars, the one-to-one versions. It was an awesome job, and I met a great group of friends there. And I'm just going to show a couple of pictures from the Bud Company. I don't know how we're going to do this. I had actually left before this, but that's a picture of the last Bud car rolling down the line. That was in, I think, 1987. That's a CTA, Chicago Transit Authority subway or L car. So that was the last production at Bachmann, or at the Bud Company. I'd left before then, as I said, but just a couple more pictures from there. This is an SPV 2000. I was always parked in the back while I was working there. And then this is an international car, it was called, also parked in the back of the Bud Company.
Wow.
And this is a picture of the interior of the Bud Company. Sadly, at the end of the production, and it was when I worked there, it was a 3-shift-a-day operation. I think 1,000 people worked there, and it was a really cool place with coil steel going in one end and train cars going out the other. It was about a quarter mile long, so lots of fun. And from there, go ahead.
Those are awesome photos. And well, just a cool full circle that you went from working with the Bud Company and working on. I believe you were there when they were building Amfleets, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So you went from making the full size Amfleets to the 187 scale and 160 scale Amfleets.
You betcha. When I was there, it was of course I walked inside the cars, and if I ride on Amtrak cars to this day, I can look at various parts of the car and I can picture them on pallets, who was doing the welding on them, what department they were in, what the blueprints looked like. And so if I ride an Amtrak train, a coach car, it's just a great trip down memory lane for me, or
That's
memory
awesome.
rail, should I say.
Yeah.
So anyway, from there, my actual degree was in marketing, and I wanted to get a job in my field, and I got a job for an advertising agency. And probably the second agency I worked for was just a small one. It was a 2-person operation. It was the person's name and associates. And I'm not going to say the person's name, but I was the associates. So at some point, I was doing cold calls to companies in the Philadelphia area, and one of my calls was to Bachmann. And I don't remember how I got the number to begin with or why I called Bachmann, but I wrote a proposal, and when it came time to do the proposal, the principal of the firm made the presentation, and I could just tell it didn't didn't go well. And about the maybe a day or two later, we split company, and I called Bachmann back up and said, I'm starting my own firm. I'd like to make a presentation. Could I come up and do that? And Dick Maddox, who was our senior vice president at the time, said, come on back up. And I made my presentation, and probably because of my experience at the Bud Company, I was basically hired on the spot. So that was in 1988. And so I was an outside vendor for Bachmann from 1988 to 1998, and then I joined them full time in 1998. So as I said, it's been a good long run, and I've met a lot of great people along the way. And now I'm just going to transition into a little bit of history of Bachmann.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bachmann and these are all things that have come up in your office as you've been getting ready to organize and clean things out.
Indeed, there's 20 years worth of material, shall we say, in my office had to be gone through, and I, with the Tyler and Matt, have been a great help, and some of my office contents have gone to their office. So, and some of these items I will show you this evening will also be retained by them for historical purposes.
Yeah, this is what we're calling Doug's Treasures.
Doug's Treasures. There we go.
Doug's Treasures Part 2.
So I'm going to go through some early pictures of Bachmann products. And Bachmann was started in 1833. Our original office was where Independence Mall is now. And so near Independence Hall, near the Liberty Bell. And Bachmann was actually in business before the Liberty Bell cracked. So our employees would have heard the Liberty Bell ringing, at various hours, and certainly on holidays or celebrations and Sundays. So it's just really a great thing to think of our length of history in Philadelphia and our coworkers listening to the Liberty Bell. Just an amazing thing. So this is I don't know if this will show up. Tyler, let me know if I need to go to a catalog, but that is Henry G. Bachmann. If that's not showing up, I'll show him in a catalog. Mm-hmm. Is that okay? It's
a little tricky, but I can make out his face.
All right, I'll show you the catalog as well. Mm-hmm. So some of this material was shared by a descendant of Henry G. Bachmann, and she was very generous with. There he is. There. This was in our 2008 catalog, which is our 175th anniversary. So we did a little history there. So I'll just show you the cover there. That was our 175th anniversary. So anyway, our first products were carved ivory cane handles, umbrella handles, combs for ladies' hair, and also, I'll show you these in a second. And we also made those same things out of tortoiseshell. So these are some early business cards from the Bachmann Company.
Tortoiseshell combs and fancy articles.
Here's some of the fancy articles as well. This was some of these are banjo necks, ivory trimmings for banjos and guitars. They might be combs. I can't see it right now, but anyway, those are some of our earliest products. So we went from carved ivory to tortoiseshell to some bakelite, and then into early injection molded plastics. Our founder, Henry G. Bachmann, exhibited ivory carvings at the 1876 centennial in Philadelphia. So these are some of the things that he exhibited. I'm not sure all these were, but this is some of his work. And he actually won a prize for one of the carvings. I'm not sure which one it is. I think it was probably the bust that I just showed you. And there's another one. Wow. So, and just as a tie-in to model railroading, the Centennial locomotive, the 440, is that the 440?
Yes, there's a 440 and a 260.
Yeah, they actually ran around the Centennial Exposition Grounds in Philadelphia, and that's how they got their name of Centennial.
Yeah, for those of you watching on the stream, if you look in the upper left-hand corner of my view, the locomotive there with the blue Russian iron boiler, that's our model of the Centennial 260.
Right. So, and just some other artifacts from Henry G. Bachmann. These are some letters written by him. His family was kind enough to share them with us. This was written from St. Petersburg, Florida in 1895.
Wow.
Another set from 1896. And I'll just show you his signature on the last one. Here, this is Henry G. Bachmann's signature right down there. So very, very cool that the family shared these with us, and just a tremendous archive. Oh, and this is a diary. This is from actually 1888. So anyway, very, very, very precious treasures from our early history.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what Henry G. Bachmann would think of Bachmann today. He certainly wasn't envisaging it as a model train manufacturer at the time.
No, and yeah, to that point, to think of, the trains running at the Centennial Exposition, his carved ivory there. He surely saw those trains or rode on them, and there was no way he could possibly imagine going from his carved ivory to electric trains in his company's future. Just impossible to imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So just a few other artifacts here. This is just an envelope with a nice old stamp on it with addressed to Bachmann. I think this is at our new address, but I say new address, 1400 East Street Avenue. We've been here since the late 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
So not too long.
Not too long. So yeah, we're almost coming up for 100 years of these buildings.
Yeah, and this was the period where, yes, this is a brochure from the 1960s, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That sounds about right, though. So here's some carved ivory candles. So just a few other things we need to be talking about. Bachmann was also the #1 maker of novelty sunglasses for several decades in the 50s and 60s.
Mm-hmm.
We made our first actual train-related products were the plastic fill buildings. That was starting in 1947. We did a line called Birds of the World. There was Animals of the World and Dogs of the World. This is our conference room that we're actually in right now.
Oh, wow.
So let's see what else we got in here.
Same conference room.
Same conference. Oh, okay. And then just to show you here, so the sunglasses and Birds of the World, Dogs of the World, all that was made right here in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
The molding for the plastic fill.
Yeah.
So one of our, I'll just show you a promotional sheet for sunglass production.
It really shows how the company evolved and adapted over time to be in business since 1833, going from ivory products to the sunglasses with the plastic injection molding. But yeah, this is a really cool piece that we have in our office.
Unfortunately, we don't have any sunglasses to go along with it, but the Bachmann brothers' name is at the bottom. So we were tied into the Beatles, in the heyday of the Beatles.
It was Beatlemania.
Yep. And then also sunglass related, we have a pair of Daniel Boone glasses. These are a little tatty, but that's okay. So those are fun to see as well. And we made any number of products out of injection molded plastic over the years. For some older people may remember that car batteries used to have plastic caps that you would screw on to fill up over the water where you filled the battery cylinders or cavities with water. And those battery caps were made here 24 hours a day for several years, and estimated production of 1 million caps per year.
Wow.
We had the sunglasses, there was cassette cases, contact lens cases, there little bases that you would put candles into birthday cakes, cases for it's called a hobby gun. That was a big thing, like a hobby gun or plaything. So anyway, I can't find the list. Oh, here it is, right here. Anyway, our first. I'm going to show you our road race. We had road race products. Here's one of our HO scale cars. That was from probably the 60s or 70s. So anyway, anything out of injection molded plastic that was of the day, we were making it. Can't think of anything else right here. Poker
I'm so
chips,
glad we make trains now.
absolutely.
Yes.
Poker chips, submarine battery caps. Let's see. Desk set holders for ink bottles and fountain pens. That was in the 1940s. Anyway, the list goes on and on. So that just gives you a brief history of Bachmann. Our first model train products were in 1969. They were N scale, and then we went on from there. So,
And Doug, you have some. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
right. So this is what our office looked like. We kind of guessed it was in the early 1960s, just by the dress and some of the equipment we see in the photo.
Yeah, a very early Xerox machine on the right there.
So luckily things look better than that for this office today.
We have carpet now, which is nice.
The carpet's nice, and we're not quite so formal. No ties and suits required.
And a little more privacy for everybody's working situations as well.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, but it's a different clock, but the clock is still in the same position. And anyway, not the exterior offices. All that arrangement is still intact.
So, just to reiterate for people who may have joined since we started, these are all amazing finds that Doug had in his office as he's been sorting through things and clearing things. And you also have some stuff from your period at Bachmann, your period of time, because you've worked on an amazing array of products and different lines. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I do. So my first, as I said, I joined Bachmann in 1988. And these were some of the very first projects I worked on. This was a press release for the 44-ton switchers, our first Spectrum products. So that's the press release. Note, it was done on a typewriter. I started my work here on a typewriter, and so that was the first ad for the Spectrum 44-tonner. Also in that same era was the introduction for our lead Spectrum products, 44-tonner, GP30, and the K4. This was like one of the first brochures I worked on too.
You came in a really exciting time where Bachmann was first starting to work to really change their image from not just making the entry-level train sets and the more basic models, but getting into real scale models and with the Spectrum line.
Absolutely, the Spectrum line was our entree into the true hobby market, and I don't think we've looked back since.
It's somewhat poetic that the 44-tonner was your first one there, and now the last full year you were here at Bachmann, we saw the introduction of the 44-tonner with sound.
Absolutely. Yeah, that product has had a good run over the year with different iterations, and with the sound, it just makes it that much better. So, and then another thing, this was our first sales sheet and ad for the big haulers large scale train set. This was a radio controlled battery op set, and the large scale big haulers line has had a great run over the years as well. So from a battery offset to our Spectrum quality products, and our 460 Baldwin locomotive has had numerous upgrades and changes over the year, lots of train sets. Great way to get people introduced to the large scale line. And this is another line that's come so far over the years.
It really has.
So let's see. This was my first catalog I did in 2000. This is when I was in charge of the entire marketing department. That was my first year for that.
But you've been working on the catalog for over a decade before this, but
oh yeah, every year since 1988. But let's see, my first year of the catalog was 156 pages, and now Matt and Tyler, how many pages is it now? I think we're up to 350 plus.
336.
336 to be exact.
Yeah.
So, and I thought this was a big project in 2000, and it was, but it's even bigger and better now. So let's see, another couple of things. I just wanted to show you some of the products I worked on over the years. I am, vice president of marketing, so a big part of my job was our Thomas and Friends line, which I think I don't really need to talk about too much because most people know about that. But
We had the Thomas Tuesday live stream of Train World a couple of weeks ago, which people can check out on Train World's Facebook page and YouTube channel, where Doug will go over in much more detail about the Thomas stuff and his time working with Thomas.
Sounds good. Yep, check that out as well. And then some of the other projects I worked on. This was an early one, the and the Acela. The first iteration of the Acela. Of course, we are now moving on to the Acela 2. Or what's the proper name for it?
The next gen Acela.
Next gen Acela. So, but I was in at the ground floor for the original Acela. And here's a picture of the Bachmann team and Acela folks when we first introduced the train. So we had a great working relationship from the start with Amtrak, as we do today.
And you're the very tall one, the second from the right there.
Yeah, I had hair then. I don't know what happened in the intervening years, but that's the only thing I've lost while I've been working with Bachmann. Everything else has been a plus.
And of course, on the far right there is the late great Lee Riley.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Thank you for mentioning that. Lee was a great friend to me, a great mentor, and I learned a lot from him. And I give him a credit for paving the way for the product development efforts that I put forward for the Thomas and Friends line and other products. So I have a few of those. Just wanted to touch on. Lee and I took a trip up to Alaska and did measurements for the McKinley Explorer car. This is just a funky sample. Sometimes some of our first samples from the factory come in strange colors. We don't really worry about the colors as long as the molding looks good. And so anyway.
Yeah, and the molding looks great. You've got the fully detailed interior with all the correct seating. You've got the observation platform. I love the open platform on those cars, and just one of our best.
It's been in our line for a long time, and I'm very proud of that car. And
I feel like I need a glass of orange juice now.
What's that?
I said I feel like I need a glass of orange juice now after looking at that.
That sounds like a good idea. So anyway, that was a wonderful trip. And then I wanted to show you, Justin, this is another car that was a project of mine, our open excursion car. So that has been, I'm very proud of that car. I think it looks great, does what it's supposed to, and it's very accurate. So I really like that. We did that in HO scale and N scale. Also, this was one of my, I didn't do the product development on that as far as tooling, but this was something I worked on for Boeing 32nd Glen Brooks Alley. I just really liked the paint scheme. It's very attractive, very classic looking. It hasn't been in the line for quite some time, but it's just one of my favorites. So that's part of the reason I'm showing some of my favorites here. And then,
it's a completely fictitious railroad, but it fits right in with that era. Looks very authentic.
Absolutely. And then another one of my endeavors here at Bachmann was establishing the Scenescapes line. I think everyone knows that this is made by JTT Products, and I met JTT at a show, and we talked, and I thought his products looked great. And so we've had this line of trees for quite some time, and as well as some other JTT products as well. So I was very fortunate to be able to go to Vietnam just in the last couple of weeks, toured the factories, and it was just a fantastic experience. And I'm very proud of that line as well.
And then this is a line that continues to grow. We added cacti in the last couple of years. We're always adding new tufts and and grass and different elements to it. So it's certainly been a good line for us to have.
Absolutely. And this is just for fun. I mean, this is no big deal, but these are some pin collection that I've accumulated over the years for just Bachmann lines or celebrations, 175th. And let's see what else we got. There's another Bachmann pin. I can't get them all to stand up straight. This is a McKinley Explorer pin to go with our McKinley Explorer cars.
Yeah.
But just one quick story on the 175th. We were at Toy Fair and setting up, and the booth across from us was Etch-a-Sketch. And they were very proudly putting up a sign for their 75th anniversary. Well, just coincidentally, it was our 175th anniversary. And I said, well, sorry, pal, across the aisle as I'm putting up our 175th anniversary sign. So anyway, just a fun coincidence. So anyway, that's just a quick rundown of some of the Bachmann history, some of my experiences here. And I just want to say thank you to everyone, all the model railroading community for a great experience, to Tyler here in the room with me, to Matt, to all my coworkers. It's definitely a team effort through the years to bring all this to you for your pleasure, and it's been something I've enjoyed every day when I come into work. So the expression is, if you like what you do, you don't work a day in your life, and that has been my experience.
Absolutely.
So that's my overview. With thanks to all.
Yeah. So we are going to open up the chat for a second here to see if anybody has any questions for Doug. You don't have too much to hide, right?
No, nothing to hide. Bring it on. Go ahead.
I am going to scroll up here because we definitely had some people coming in saying, thanks for everything, Doug. Happy retirement.
Thank you all.
I like this one that says, we need a special edition 44-tonner honoring Doug.
No, that goes to Lee Riley. That was, the Spectrum product line was his introduction and his concept. So all that credit goes to Lee Riley.
Absolutely. I like this one too. Tune in on the next Thomas Tuesday to find Doug working there because he's already bored with retirement.
Well, we'll see about that. I'll be happy to come back and visit sometime, though.
Well, you certainly will be welcome by all, I'm sure. Let's see. Do you have a question? Who will be taking over Doug's role of demonstrating prototypes of new Thomas stuff? That will primarily be me. So I'll probably be on Train World's Thomas Tuesday. Haven't heard anything about this month, but I assume we're going to have it in the next couple of weeks. We will not be stopping with the all the previews we've been giving for the Thomas fandom. We're going to absolutely keep that going.
Absolutely, and just a quick note. With Matt and Tyler, it's very gratifying to see the next generation stepping in and doing everything that's needed to keep the model railroads coming for you.
Yeah. Thank you, Doug.
You're welcome.
I have two questions for you here now. First one is, what went into selecting the motive power for N scale back in the early days? I don't know, this may be a little bit before your time.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was it?
What went into selecting motive power for N scale back in the early, it says back in those days, I'm assuming back in the 60s, 70s. And that's before your time, but maybe you have a little bit of insight.
Not really, that was before my time. So, I know at that time, though, they were basic locomotives with basic road names, and more geared to more mass production, if you will, rather than hobby-specific products.
Mm-hmm. Now, another question, Doug. If you could bring one dream item to market, what would it be?
What would it be? geez, I don't even. I would love to have seen at some point a large scale DeWitt Clinton. I think that would have been something. I think it would have just been fun to run and fun to see on the rails.
That's a good answer. And now, what about one for the Thomas line? You probably already answered this one in the last stream, but since that was your primary line that you worked on, what about a Thomas product?
My biggest desire for a new product is whatever Matt Stern decides to bring out next.
I like that answer.
Okay. I'm not going to get myself in trouble on that one.
Don't make any promises you can't keep.
That's right.
Well, Doug, yeah, it would be promises I can't keep. So Doug's off the hook if he does, even if he does give an answer.
Yeah, yeah. You can say you're very proud of everything that you did manage to make, and you don't have any regrets.
There you go.
I like that answer. Thank you, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we will do an actual Q&A at the end of the show, and if anything else pops up, we can certainly ask Doug. But we're going to also, just in the interest of time, move into talking about some of our current arrivals at retail stores around the country, plus some new paint samples as well. So, Tyler, I don't know how you want to handle this. If you want to.
I'm going to take over as cameraman, and Tyler's going to be sitting here.
Yeah.
So
we'll do a
little handoff here. Yeah. I'm going to move some stuff out of the way.
We don't normally make our guests of honor on the show also be the camera operator, but.
So, all right, Tyler, you are up.
Yeah, we made it work. All right. Hello, everybody. Okay. All right, so I will take my seat here to do this month's new sample reveals and demonstrations along with Matt. So for a upcoming project, we showed these on our Facebook page a couple weeks ago, and we'll show them off here again for the stream. This is the two newest paint schemes for our short body bay window transfer caboose. And we've got two very attractive paint schemes here. I think this is my personal favorite, and I think it's one of the best cabooses we've introduced to our line. This is the Family Line system, lettered for the Louisville and Nashville. Family Lines was a conglomerate of Southeastern railroads under one holding company, which included the Seaboard Coastline, Louisville and Nashville, the Georgia Railroad, the Clinchfield Railroad, the West Point Route. As you can see there on the logo. And then this particular caboose is lettered for the Louisville and Nashville, as you can see there from the L&N initials. It's just a very sharp-looking car. You would think a car that's as gray as the main color would be a little bit drab, but those red and yellow stripes really make it stick out.
The fine lines and detail on this car really help. It really complement the overall detail of the model itself as well.
Yeah, they have. This is all of the features and details that our first run of transfer cabooses had, with the handrails, the fine detailed handrails, road name specific details, such as the design of the bay window, the fuel tank, the toolbox. Doug is just taking a seat now at the conference table rather than standing up. It's a little less awkward for him.
Sorry for the camera jiggling there.
We got all kinds of great underbody detail here with the brake lines and cabinets. Just one of the first models I worked on that was new from scratch, and we're very happy with how it turned out, and excited to be bringing more road names. And I'll show off the other road name as well. So we previously did a Union Pacific transfer caboose in the Armor Yellow scheme, and this is another variant that the Union Pacific rostered. This is number 7504, and it's painted in a unique orange and gray maintenance of way scheme that, as far as we know, no other Union Pacific cabooses were painted in these colors, but it was painted this way to stand out in maintenance of way service. It's kind of interesting. It has some of the red Missouri Pacific paint showing through, as you can see here on the handrails and the steps. I'm not sure if they ran out of gray paint or what the situation was, but it's definitely a very interesting looking paint scheme.
And this
There's a
particular
couple of
car made it all the way all across the Union Pacific system, and you can find photos of it working it from Illinois to the Central Valley in California, and pretty much everywhere in between.
That's correct. This transfer caboose is based on a Missouri Pacific prototype. It was their design, which was later on copied by other railroads such as the Family Lines. So this paint scheme is exactly correct for this style of caboose, and the L&N car was a very close match with just a few minor detail differences. So look out for these later this year. And we also still have in stock the first run of road names, which was CSX, the Union Pacific, Armor Yellow, Missouri Pacific, and Southern Pacific.
Those are really nice looking cars.
Mhm.
So you have some locomotives to discuss as well here, I think, right?
Yes, and these are recent arrivals. They are in our warehouse now, shipping out to detail dealers and ready for order. We'll start here in HO. Our HO scale SD40-2 sound value locomotive is now back in stock. And we've got several restocked road names and 3 new ones. We have the Milwaukee Road Bicentennial Scheme, Conrail Quality, and today we're showing off the Santa Fe and the ill-fated SPSF paint scheme. This was the paint scheme that was chosen for a planned merger between the Santa Fe and Southern Pacific. You can see here they left space to add the letters SP later, but the merger was ultimately blocked by the Interstate Commerce Commission, so they were left with a bunch of locomotives painted for a railroad that never existed. But these could be found on both the Santa Fe or the Southern Pacific systems for quite some time afterwards in the 1980s. So right now I have the locomotive on mute. I'm going to take it off that now, and you can hear the Soundtrack's Economy sound package that comes with these locomotives. Hopefully that's coming along across well on the live stream, but it's just, incredible high quality sound. We've had the sound value line in place for quite some time now, and now we're starting to upgrade these locomotives to Soundtrack's economy package. So you're getting the same great Soundtrack's sound quality, but with even better, an even wider variety of features. There's now more selection of horns and prime and bells and prime mover sounds, a lot more customization compared to the earlier sound value releases. So even if you've had a Bachmann sound value locomotive before, make sure to check our website and our catalog for the models that have economy listed to get this latest sound package.
I'm not sure how it sounded on, over the broadcast either, but in the room, it sounded awesome.
Yeah,
That's the
one thing
first
that you can never.
That's the first I had heard it. It sounded really great.
You can't really capture the depth of the sound through a live stream recording but it really does fill the space and gives the feeling of power when you move the dial forwards.
Absolutely, and I'll just pick this up and do a quick spin around so you can see it from all angles.
It's a sharp looking scheme.
It is. The Kodachrome paint scheme, as it was nicknamed by rail fans because it looked like the red and yellow Kodak film boxes. It almost makes you wish that merger had gone through so we could see all the Southern Pacific and Santa Fe locomotives painted like this.
But then you wouldn't
Good
have my
point.
favorite railroad, the BNSF.
Duly noted. Yeah, BNSF is a fine railroad. It's not my personal favorite. But let's move down. We're going to go now to N scale and to our other sound decoder partner, TCS. This is the ever popular SC44 Siemens Charger. And we have two new road names that have arrived in N scale, both of them for California commuter railroads. You have the Altamont Corridor Express, which I'll show you here in the packaging. And then we also have the North County Transit District coaster. We got to see this in person for the first time when we were at the World's Greatest Hobby Shows back in February, driving along the way during a research trip out there. So I'm going to take this one off, show off the TCS Wow Sound features lights and sound that you've come to expect from our Siemens products. Have a little bit of room here to do some running. I love when you put it into the emergency stop on the DCC system here. The emergency strobe light flashes on, just like the prototype, and turns off when we start moving again. So those are our latest additions to the Charger line and N scale. They join the Amtrak Midwest, Cascades and Pacific Surfliner previously in stock, as well as the ALC 42 line, which we delivered a couple months ago. Matt, I believe you have a couple of upcoming products to show as well.
I do, yeah. I have some upcoming products and some products that are in stock as well. So we'll start with the upcoming ones. Got a new paint scheme for our classic 52-foot flat car in HO scale. We got this is the chassis system with B&O reporting marks scheme. A really nice car. It's perfect for pretty much any flat car load that you might want. This era for the chassis system would have probably been towards the end of their lives as general purpose flat cars, and they would have been possibly transferring or transitioning into maintenance away use at this point. But really nice looking cars. One of my favorite aspects about them, which you might not be able to see here, but it's got the nice wood effect deck, textured wood deck, which is a perfect canvas if you like to do weathering. It's got some good underbody detail there. You can see the wood slats. And yeah, this should be arriving later on this year. Along with that, we also have a new addition to our Bud full dome cars. And this is the Canadian National Business Trains 119, which just joined the fleet actually in 2023. So it's a fairly recent addition to the Canadian National Business Train. The history of the car is actually this was Amtrak's Ocean View, which then went to the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad and is now back in mainline use on the Canadian National. So this is the first sample of this car, and we will hopefully have these in stock later this year as well. Another thing worth mentioning about these is these have full furnished interiors and interior lighting in them as well. So really nice cars.
Yeah, really nice car, and it's kind of funny that we've now done that car originally the Ocean View, and we have 4 different paint schemes now in the catalog. That car has gotten around a bit.
You could make an entire train of Ocean Views now.
If you really wanted to, yeah.
We should probably do the original at some point. I guess it was the Ocean View. Was it a Santa Fe car?
It would have been Great Northern.
Great Northern.
Your
okay.
yeah, that's right. Your other favorite railroad.
I should know that, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
So cars that are in stock right now. Actually, are these in stock or these are just samples, aren't they? I'm getting ahead of myself.
I can't see it because of the phone.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm holding up the chemical tank cars in the new paint schemes.
Yes, those are not in stock yet, but they are on the water.
That's right.
Those are production samples we got in advance of the main shipment.
So we've got there's 2 new paint schemes. We introduced the chemical tank car in our line in 2023, I believe the first models arrived, and we offer them in 4 paint schemes initially, and we're introducing 2 new ones here. This one is Arcadian, which has the large dome. We have 2 different dome styles per prototype. And it's Allied Chemicals Arcadian, Agricultural Division. Another gray car, similar to the L&N transfer caboose, but again, it works well. It looks good. And then we also have Hampshire Chemical in this St. George's flag inspired scheme, which is pretty cool looking. And if you'll see, I'm holding up 2 models here. These are not duplicates. They're actually 2 different road numbers for both cars. So we're similar to what we've done with our Trinity 5161 and air slide hoppers. We're introducing 2 road numbers per car for these, so you can build out your train a little more realistically. You don't just have to duplicate the same number or have to decal it yourself. And then we're also, in addition to these, we're introducing a 2nd road number for all the existing paint schemes as well. And that is what I have on the table right now. I don't know, Tyler, do you have anything else?
That's all I have for this month. We've got more great stuff that we're going to be showing over the next couple months on the live streams and on Facebook. Our factory is just reopening from Chinese New Year over the past couple of weeks, and they are hard at work putting together these samples together for us, getting them ready for production. So we'll have lots of new and exciting models to show very soon.
We will. So we're going to do a little bit of our regular Q&A now. Now, Tyler, I don't know if you can see any questions. So
yeah,
let me know if I have to go through.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to spin around here and saddle up next to Doug, and I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see both of us on screen, and then so here we go. Squeeze into the frame together. All right. And here is the chat. So you want to start from the top or the bottom, Matt?
I'll start from the top.
All right.
I already scrolled up there.
We do have a question. Any update on Stanley and the Thomas figures?
Stanley is approved for shipment. So assuming there's no holdup with any tariff situation, it should be on the water to us very shortly. You know, I don't know if the tariff situation may delay it, but it is produced and ready to ship.
Yes. And
do you have Stanley on your desk there, Matt?
I'm just reaching for it now.
Yes.
There we go. We got a box sample right here. Really nice.
Perfect. As you know, always good sign. And the figures are already on the water, correct, Matt?
The figures, yes, I believe they are on the water, so they should be here hopefully within the next few weeks to a month or so as well. One of my favorite features of Stanley is it's catching the light here, so I'm going to point it out, is the 3D text on the 3D beveled text on the nameplate there. Really nice looking locomotive. Nice addition to the line. I'm going to give a couple of shout outs here. We've got people joining us from around the country and the world. We've got Tweetsy Railroad 192, presumably from North Carolina. We've got Sean Rail Animations from Ireland. And we've got Isaac from Boyertown, Pennsylvania, not too far away from us here. And many more people. So always good to see just how far and wide everybody's joining us from. Let me see if we have any comments.
Having a suggestion here. Do you plan on bringing back the HO2662 as Western Maryland 1309? So Western Maryland 1309, of course, re-entered, was restored to operation a couple years ago. Haven't been able to see it in person yet, but it's obviously a very impressive locomotive, one of the largest operating on the East Coast. Now, that was originally a Chesapeake and Ohio locomotive, and we have done the 2662 Malley in our line previously. However, the 1309 is a later class. I believe it's an H5 compared to the Malleys we've made, which are the H4 and the USRA versions. So there would be some differences in the details and the construction between those classes. So it would require some modification for us to do it properly, which we want to do. We want to do it justice. So it's not something we plan on doing immediately, but it's something we will consider for the future.
Having seen that locomotive operating in reality, it's a very impressive locomotive. Looking forward to it. I think the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad's bringing it back into operation this spring, actually this May.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Any updates on DCC Thomas? I assume this is DCC Sound Thomas. Doug, refresh my memory. Where are we with that?
DCC Thomas?
Yeah.
In person? In process. No specific dates yet, but we have it's approved for production, but I don't know where it is on the production schedule yet.
So it'll be later this year, more than likely.
Keep your fingers crossed.
How about a model of the Centennial 440? I think we covered that, right? Did we make a 440 Centennial?
We did. It's on the cover of the 2000 catalog.
Yep.
If you want to reach over there and show it off.
Now this is a large scale model, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So not something we've done in HO. So maybe something to consider there. Although was that a narrow gauge locomotive?
It was narrow gauge, yes.
Okay. Any updates on the Acela 2 arrival? Acela 2s are expected to ship this month. As Doug mentioned earlier, with the situation with tariffs and stuff, there may be some changes. We're not expecting any changes right now, but if everything goes to plan, they'll be leaving and arriving here at some point before early June, late May. So we're definitely as eager to get them here as I'm sure you are for seeing them in the hobby stores. So they should be here soon.
Mm-hmm. And I think Matt, feel free to add on to any of this. As far as the tariff situation, how it affects our prices, we did want to address that as part of the stream tonight. With the recent developments just today, and since the reciprocal tariffs were announced by the government, a couple of manufacturers have put out statements about their plans. For us, things are a little bit up in the air because of how the situation keeps developing and unfolding. So it will affect our pricing to the exact extent we're not entirely clear on yet, but Bachmann is going to work to minimize the impact to the consumer as best as we can.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned for further updates on the tariff situation.
Yeah. Let me see what we have here.
Hopefully you all can see Doug and I okay. It's a little awkward trying to get a good angle here.
Yeah,
with getting
I'm
us
trying to
both
see if
in.
there's another way I can configure this, because right now, let's see. There we go. Now we got everybody on the screen. We were seeing about a quarter of each of your faces and more of the plaques in the background.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Hopefully no one's trying to tell time by the clock behind us either.
Yeah. It's a little behind.
Doug, just another one for you here. Let's see where. Let me scroll back up to it. John Salandria wanted to let you know wanted to say that Doug is the GOAT.
Well, that's very kind. Thank you very much. And as I said, it takes a team, and with Matt, Tyler, Larry Harrington, my mentor Lee Riley, it's been a good run, and the products we've made over the year have been very gratifying to bring to market.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say as well, from working with Doug these past few years, Doug, you've been a pleasure to work with. You've made this made the job here even more fun than it would have been already.
Well, my pleasure, and I look forward to what the next generation team brings next. I have every confidence it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll do our best, right, Tyler?
That's right. Another question for you, Doug. What is your favorite memory working at Bachmann?
Oh, that's a good one.
I need to get a glass of water, and then I'll be right back. Hold on for another question.
All right, let me see if I have one for you here. We're getting a lot of questions about Brightline. Tyler, I know you've mentioned this before. Do you want to explain?
Yeah, the situation with Brightline is, simply put, we need a licensing agreement in place in order to have permission to use their trademarks. And that's something that we have not been able to secure at this time. We are actively in discussions. We've made contact with them, but we don't have anything finalized yet, and we can't say when or if it'll be finalized. So I will add also.
The most important point is we're not ignoring the comments when we know there's a lot of demand, and that's where we are.
Yes.
So I'm back with an answer to the question. I don't really have a specific memory, but I would just say that my fondest memories are really the people I've met along the way. And that's what's brought me the greatest joy in this job. And I thank everyone for their friendships over the years. It's been fantastic.
That's a good answer.
I always say, I feel like I'm, really in my dream job working here at Bachmann as someone who's loved, trains all my life. But what really makes it a great place to work and happy is just the people you work with every day, and just what a great work environment it is.
It becomes family.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question here about the large-scale offset two-bay coal hoppers. When they will be arriving, I believe they are expected to be here. Correct me if I'm wrong. This fall, maybe a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we. Those are still ways off. We haven't received any pre-production samples yet, so it'll be. We're not quite sure when we're going to receive those. Our large scale items have had a little bit of a longer lead time compared to the smaller scales, just with the just the pure size. But that's the best update I can give at the moment.
Yeah, we did receive hoppers this last fall, but they were the Bethlehem steel hoppers, not the offset two-bay hoppers. And just in response to this question.
Can I back up on one of my favorite memories?
Sure, go for it.
All right. So, and it's really been happening more over the recent years, is that people tell me at trade shows or in casual conversation sometimes with a model railroader, what their first train set was or what their first memory was in trains, and it's a Bachmann train set. And these years, it's been a train set that I've worked on. So, Matt, could I ask you what your first train set was?
Well,
model quality.
Model quality. Okay, there we go. No, well, actually, yeah, my first. Technically, it was my second set. My first set had Bachmann track, but it wasn't a Bachmann set. But my second set, and without a doubt, my favorite set from my youth, from my childhood, was the Amtrak Patriot set with the Easy Track, which I believe that you worked on that set, right, Doug?
Absolutely, did the packaging for it.
Yeah, and I have a very, very similar story. I had trains that were handed down from my father and my grandfather, but my first train set of my very own was the original version of the HO scale McKinley Explorer.
Worked on that too.
With when it had the Bud cars, right?
Yep, right.
That's correct.
So that is incredibly gratifying.
Mm-hmm. Doug, we have two separate comments back to back about if you have plans to return to Cake Boss and about your Cake Boss experience.
Wow. No immediate plans to return to Cake Boss, but I will say I sampled their cannolis after that show, and they were awesome.
Mm-hmm. For those who may not be familiar, Doug and Bachmann were featured in an episode of Cake Boss. It was a collaboration as part of the 40th anniversary of Amtrak, where Buddy the Cake Boss made a giant Amtrak themed cake that featured Bachmann and Williams Amtrak trains actually running through the cake.
Exactly. It was the cake was presented or shown at Penn Station in New York City. So we travel up there with an Amtrak representative, and anyway, enjoyed being part of that show.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to see the episode, if you want to see the episode, I believe it's available on YouTube. I'm not sure. It's available online for sure because we went back to watch it to see Doug's moment of national TV fame.
Yeah, I will just say, if you do go back and watch that episode, that we had absolutely nothing to do with the measurements of the train layout.
There's a lot of manufactured drama.
Exactly.
Such as TV.
Exactly. But it was great fun regardless.
I do have a question here. It's not a specific question, or it's not a direct question about timing or anything like that. But it is, where is Salty? Well, Salty's right here.
Yes.
No, but in all seriousness, Salty is being worked on, and we hope to have it in retailers in the not too distant future. We know it's been a little while since he was announced.
I would give yourself a little more leeway on that. It's going to take a while.
Yeah,
so it's just one of those projects.
But it is. But the bottom line is we haven't forgotten. Salty is he's not. He's not gathering dust somewhere in a dark corner. He is being worked on, and he will be back in the line.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Has he been approved for production and is just waiting for a spot in the schedule, or are we still?
We're waiting for engineering work to be done.
Okay.
But it shouldn't be too much longer before he's in production. I do have a question here. Would we still make the ATSF 2926? I believe, is that one of the Northerns, Tyler?
It is. It's the one that was recently restored to operation in Albuquerque.
That's right.
And we did make a model of those 484 Northerns several years ago. No immediate plans, but with that, with all the interest in that locomotive, and Santa Fe is very popular. There's a good chance it'll come back eventually.
Yeah, we'd probably want to do a little bit of updating because it is one of our older models before we did a separate sale release for it. Also, a question on how the 80th anniversary Thomas models are looking. They're looking good. We're excited. We're excited to bring them to market. We're looking at probably a mid to late fall arrival for those. So we're excited. We're happy to be able to share in the anniversary celebrations. And I believe I'm at the bottom of the comments now. So unless you have any more, this might be a good place to call it a night.
Mm-hmm. As always, if there's any questions we missed, or if you're watching the replay of the stream afterwards and you're not watching live, you can always leave a comment on the Facebook or YouTube post with any other questions you may have, or you can send us an email, info@bachmanntrains.com.
Exactly. Got one more comment for Doug here. Doug, I'll greatly miss you. This is from Derek M. I'll greatly miss you. I've watched you in many New York Toy Fair videos for many years before monthly Thomas Tuesdays. Thank you for being a friend.
My pleasure, and I'll sign off with thanks to all my friends in the industry that I've met along the way at trade shows and here at Bachmann. It's been a great experience, and one I will treasure for forever. So thank you all.
And thank you for everything you've done for the model train industry. It's in 37 years. I can't remember how many years exactly. Somewhere in there. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that we have to be thankful for the stuff you've brought to the industry.
Well, thank you very much. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Matt.
All right, and with that, we're going to sign off. So thanks for joining us as always, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. And I guess that'll be May. This year is flying by.
Sure is.
Anyway, we'll see you.